Towards your end of your career, did you give up some of the sparring or no? Like, did you stop sparring as much?
I just didn't run on my spar days. I never ran on my spar days. Never, because I only ran like 3-4 days a week.
Oh, okay.
Because I ran hard.
Yeah.
So Virgil's like, dude, you do everything hard, jump rope, shadow block. You don't need 7 days a week, 6 days a week. So the days I spar, that's the main focus.
Yeah.
Sparring, and then if we do some floor work after, but.
You were doing with three different, like
Three, four different guys, yep.
That's what I've been doing. Every time I have my training camp, I'll do 3 different sparrings. 4, 4, and 4. And you know, when in there, when you get the second fresh sparring, you have to adapt to your head. It helps you a lot, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Especially once you get to that third guy and you're able to adapt to 3 people.
I used to hate it though.
Yeah.
They come in fresh.
Yeah. But then that bring the dog out in you.
Yeah, you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Pop's big on the round.
Huh?
Pops is big on a lot of rounds.
The least rounds we did were 11. So the whole camp, 3 different sparring partners, 12 rounds. I was just asking because now, like the new age people, some people say that they don't spar.
It depends on guys who don't take a lot of punishment. You're gonna get hit, but I'm saying like punishment, they shouldn't spar a lot.
Yeah.
You getting beat up and sparring, you shouldn't spar a lot. But if you're a guy that, you know, basically dominates most of it, spar a lot.
Between Andre Ward, me, my brother, my dad, and Jason, it's like 150 plus years of boxing, bro.
A lot of work in it.
When it comes to training, no one shows more focus than David Benavidez. The Mexican Monster has been seen working hard in the gym as he prepares for his May 2nd fight against Zurdo Ramirez. This is a huge step for Benavidez as he moves up to Cruiserweight, aiming to win the WBA and WBO Cruiserweight titles in a big Mexico versus Mexico clash on Cinco De Mayo weekend after his success at light heavyweight. David now wants to add more world titles and build his legacy in boxing. This is a very important fight for him, and he is putting in maximum effort during camp. In the latest training clips, he looks quick, strong, and in top shape, and it would not be a surprise if he handles his Mexican rival with ease. If you think Zurdo Ramirez is an easy fight for Benavidez, you need to think again. The 34-year-old Zurdo is fully focused in his training camp, and the latest footage shows he is in great form. His natural power could cause real problems for the Mexican Monster, and as the current champion, he will not give up his belts without a fight. Zurdo also sent a clear message to David.
I think he will do great because he's a big guy, he's strong. It's interesting to see him in 175. I mean, I want to see him with the best, and I think he can be a world champion. He's my friend, but in the ring, we want to fight with the best, right? And he's one of the best, and I want to fight with the best too. It will be exciting in the ring because he's 2 Mexicans in the ring. I mean, it's exciting, and I have a lot of respect for him, for his family, the dad, and I know them, all of them. We've been training for so many years, but I mean, we agreed to fight each other, but eventually, I think will happen.
Come on, Zurdo, let's go! Time.
David Benavidez wasted no time in firing back during training. The Mexican Monster shared a glimpse of what he plans to show inside the ring on fight night.
Guys, I just want to wish everybody
Happy holidays. We're right here back in the gym. We got our next upcoming fight against Zurdo Ramirez, Cinco De Mayo weekend, and I'm gonna give you guys a little preview of what's gonna happen. So good, I'm very excited going up to capture two more titles, so I'm very excited, man. Cruiserweight will come.
Recuerden, amigos, no se les olvide, 5 de mayo, el monstruo mexicano regresa a Las Vegas, Nevada. Zurdo Ramirez, 2 títulos. No se lo pierdan.
When two fighters push this hard in camp, you know the fight will be special. Both have promised fans a real war. In an interview, Benavidez spoke about the matchup and said he is proud to headline Cinco de Mayo weekend. He pointed out the history behind it, as this is the first time two Mexican fighters will battle for 2 world titles at Cruiserweight on this major holiday. Benavidez said he moved up 25 pounds because he was tired of being avoided by other champions and wanted to take on the biggest fights instead of easy defenses. Having sparred with Ramirez since he was 18, he feels very familiar and confident going into this fight. He believes his speed and combination punching will still be his biggest strengths, even in the heavier division.
The show.
Yeah, man, great to have you, David. Always great talking to you, and always exciting things going on with your career. How are things coming along for the Zurdo Ramirez? How does it feel to have the Cinco de Mayo weekend and be the main attraction, the star attraction on the Cinco de Mayo weekend? Something that we've thought was always in your future, but things were getting in the way before.
Man, it feels really good, man. I feel really blessed. It took long enough. I've been professional 13 years, so I'm just very happy to be here in this position. I'm very happy to continue to make history, because this fight is just a very special Cinco de Mayo fight. This is the first fight where there's 2 Mexicans fighting for 2 belts in the Cruiserweight division on Cinco de Mayo. So I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity, and moving up to a new weight class on a huge weekend, like you said. How did this come about? Where did this fight even come about? Let's really go back. We've been talking about this fight for weeks now, and it's a huge event. But in terms of you jumping up another weight class, going into the Cruiserweight and going right into a big fight for a title, how did this come about?
So it's always been something me and my father talked about. Because I've been sparring Zurdo Ramirez since I was 18 years old. In my opinion, I've gotten the better of him. I'm sure he'll say otherwise, but I always knew I was going to fight him. I never thought I was going to fight him at Cruiserweight. And also what happened was it's been very apparent that I've been trying to make the biggest and best fights happen. I'm in line, I was in line to fight Beterbiev even before the Anthony Yarde fight. We got that fight. He said that he was going to fight a trilogy with Beterbiev. That never happened. And now he says he wants a tune-up fight, and then he's fighting Beterbiev. So for me, man, like I said, I want to make the biggest and best fights happen. We had talked to Oscar De La Hoya about 2 years ago for to try to make the fight happen with Zurdo Ramirez. And then the opportunity came at the best moment. The May 5th card opened up. And then we made that deal with Zurdo Ramirez, and now here we are. We're making
The Mexican Monster is never afraid of a challenge, and that likely comes from his strong work ethic and discipline. While speaking on the A Toast Life podcast, he shared his mindset inside the ring, saying he becomes a killer when he fights, but is a completely different person outside of it. He explained that dedication drives his life both in and out of boxing. The nickname Mexican Monster fits him, well, as David Benavidez described how he flips a switch the moment he steps into the ring.
Well, it's the difference is night and day. I'm a completely different person outside the ring. I'm not an aggressive guy. I'm not a mean guy at all. If anything, if you see me or ask around, I'm probably the nicest person you guys would ever meet. But once I get in the ring, there's a whole different story. Outside the ring, I'm a loving husband, a loving father. I'm a leader for my people. I help everybody, and I just try to. My philosophy is always treat people how I want to be treated, and I treat everybody with love and respect until we get into that ring. And when I get into that ring, that's what my mentality in the ring is kill or be killed. 100%. So it's funny, it's 2 different mentalities. Outside the ring, treat everybody how I want to be treated, and inside is kill or be killed. So it's like a switch
that win.
It's a switch that I have to turn on, but I don't really have any problems turning it on. I think in the ring, I've been boxing my whole life. I started boxing at 2 years old. I'm 29 right now, so 27 years. So it's just who I am as a person. Outside the ring, I'm nice. Inside the ring.
Benavidez treats his training like a regular 9-to-5 job. He stresses the importance of keeping a balance between his career and family life, and now trains from home, so he can stay close to his kids. He says his boxing and home life are not separate struggles, but part of one lifestyle. In the past, he followed the usual routine of leaving for long training camps away from home, but after missing 6 months of his son's first year, he realized giving up so much time with his children was no longer worth it, so he changed his approach, and now trains locally. He goes to the gym at 10 a.m. and returns by 5 p.m., then switches off from being a fighter to focus fully on his wife and kids. He believes seeing his children smile every morning gives him the motivation and energy to perform at his best in the ring.
It's not an easy role, and it takes a lot of work. So how do you balance being the boxing champion, world champion, and then being a husband and a father?
I mean, I don't really try to balance it out. This is my life. You know what I mean? I train, and then I train every single day. So I've found, a way to make sure, I have enough time for my wife, I have enough time for my kids, I have enough time for the gym. Because back then I used to go to camp, and I thought that would be the best thing for me. Like, okay, I'm like, people when they go to camp, it's 2 months and a half, maybe 3 months.
Yeah.
And I would go to camp all the time. I'd have great results. But the last time, when I started going to camp, the last time I went to camp, my son was born. I went home, he was born. I had to get ready for a fight in 3 months. So I left 3 months. I can't, it was super hard. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It's harder than fights. It's not only just being away from your kids, your wife, but also thinking in your head, like, what if something happens and I'm not there? So then I went back home, took like a month and a half off, 2 months off, and then I had to get ready for another fight, another 3 months. So this all happened before my son was even 1. So I missed 6 months of his life for being in camp. So I was thinking like, okay, like if I'm doing all this stuff for my kids, my wife, right? And I'm leaving 6 months out the year. Like, I'm giving my sport more time than I'm giving my kids. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And also, I didn't like being away from my kids that long. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just do everything. I'm not gonna go to camp anymore. I'm gonna train from home. I'm gonna make sure I see my kids every day. It's gonna be harder, yeah. It's gonna be way harder, but fuck it. This is what I'm gonna do. And that's how I learned it. Just to when I treat my training like a job, like a 9 to 5. I leave at 10. I come back maybe like 5 p.m. When I'm back home, I'm just with the kids.
During the interview, Benavidez also spoke about what these titles and achievements mean to him. He sees his legacy as becoming the greatest boxer of all time, a goal he has believed in since he was a kid. He remembered running South Mountain in Phoenix when he was young, dreaming for years about becoming a world champion. When he returned to that same mountain years later, he stood at the top as a champion who had already won 6 belts in 2 divisions, proving his dreams had come true. He said his view on legacy is built on belief and hard work. He admits he was not the strongest or fastest, but reached this level by staying true to his word and working non-stop, a mindset taught by his father and brother. In the end, he wants people to remember him as proof that anything is possible, showing the next generation that no challenge is too big if you truly believe in yourself and are ready to work for it.
It's all said and done, and you hang up those gloves. What do you want to be remembered as?
The greatest of all time. I have a post I want to show you guys because it really hit me. And it's coming back to this. So when I was a little kid, I've had the same vision for years. Even since I'm champion now, and still have the same vision. Yeah. I want to become world champion. You know what I mean? So I went to South Mountain. It's funny because I haven't been there in a while. I haven't ran this mountain in a while. I was in Phoenix last week, and then I posted this at the top of the mountain. And then I put, just finished a good run at South Mountain. This mountain is special to me because I've been running this mountain since I was a little kid. I've had countless runs here, daydreaming about becoming a champion. I held that vision in my head for 20 years, and the last time I ran this mountain was 10 years ago. I told myself the next time I come here, I would be world champion. 10 years later, I stand at the top of the mountain. I've captured 6 belts in 2 divisions, and on May 2nd, I will fight for 2 more belts at any weight class. Never give up on yourself and always keep your word to yourself. You can achieve anything you want to achieve in this world if you're willing to put in the work. Nothing is impossible no matter how much people doubt you. If you want it bad enough, you have the power in yourself to manifest your dreams into reality. This is what I posted. So now I fight Zurdo Ramirez, May 2nd, 2 more belts. I would say that I wanted to become the legend, one of the greatest boxers of all time. But after I posted this, I seen, now I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna become the greatest boxer of all time. Because I was never the strongest, I was never the fastest. I got to where I'm at because of my father and my brother. But because the work I put out, what I pulled out for myself.
1,000%.
So in that sense, I know what I am.
In another podcast interview, Benavidez spoke about a key moment in his life when he lost his world title at 21 after testing positive for banned substances. He called it his biggest lesson, explaining that everything he had worked for was taken away instantly. Because of one mistake, this taught him how quickly life can change and why it is important to stay ready and always do the right thing when talking about success. Benavidez said it is not about money or fame, but about winning world titles and building a lasting legacy. He sees boxing as a reflection of life, where you must always be prepared for challenges to become the best version of yourself. He added that if boxing was no longer part of his life, then success would mean being a strong father and husband who takes care of his family.
I tested positive for drugs. I did, and right after I won the title, so I had everything, and then everything got taken away right away. So you can always be prepared. Like I said, you always got to be prepared for everything. But also, it just showed me how so much could change from a mistake. How much your life could drastically change for one mistake. So I learned that early on. That was probably the biggest lesson I learned when I was younger. I was 21. So that's definitely that you shouldn't be making those types of mistakes, and you know what I mean? You always got to do the right thing.
What does success mean to you?
I mean, success to me, that honestly just means world titles. That's really all success means to me. That's something I've been after my whole life. Success is just me being the world champion. That's something I projected in my mind since I was a little kid. I don't really care about the money. I don't care about being famous. This is something this is success to me. World championships and leaving a legacy. For me.
What would happen if all that was done?
I don't want to think about that.
Why?
Because that's my life. My life is a boxer. Why would I think about not being you know what I mean? This is what I've trained my whole life to do. I mean, obviously, if I wanted to be something else, I'd be something else. But if it was all taken away, I'd be a good dad, be there for my family. But this is what success means to me.
What do you want?
David Benavidez wants to win another title in a new weight class, but his move up was not part of the original plan. He said taking the Zurdo Ramirez fight came more out of necessity. In an interview with Mike Coppinger, the Mexican Monster explained that he is creating his own path because top names like Wbw and Canelo have not agreed to fight him, while he is stepping up to chase titles in a third division. He made it clear that he plans to return to light heavyweight after facing Ramirez. Benavidez said he will manage his body carefully so he does not gain too much muscle and can still move back down. His goal is to win Cruiserweight titles and then use that momentum to land the big fights he wants at 175 pounds. He is open to facing anyone, including other top cruiserweights, but prefers to take things one fight at a time.
It's a done deal. May 2nd, Cinco De Mayo, it's a done deal. And like I said, I ain't waiting for nobody. I'm making my own lane. If Wbw, Canelo don't want to fight me, I'm going up. I'm going to Cruiserweight. There was an opportunity to fight for the 2 belts, so I said, let's get it.
Realistically, we've seen fighters go up before and then come back down. Can you come back down to light heavyweight for fights with Canelo, Wbw, or Bivol, or once you're up there, you have to wait and see?
Nah, you know what I mean? We'll take it one fight at a time, but like I said, I take every fight like it's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to go down to 175. Maybe after I get the titles at Cruiserweight, there's an opportunity to come down. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm not gonna gain too much muscle going up, and I don't want to get big. I don't want to stay at Cruiserweight immediately. I want to come back down. So we're gonna put together a good game plan. We got about 6 months to get ready for that fight, and we're gonna see how much muscle mass we have to put on and what type of strength and conditioning we have to do. But I definitely do want to come down and get a fight with Bivol, Wbw, and Canelo, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, look, certainly you'll be favored to beat Zurdo Ramirez and win a title in a third weight class, but the best guy at Cruiserweight, Jai Apataya. Can we see you fight Jai Apataya? One more fight at Cruiserweight.
I don't know. We'll take it one fight at a time, brother. Like I said, I don't know. Everything's possible. I ain't ducking no smoking. I've showed it time and time again that I want the best fights in.
The upcoming fight is a huge moment for David Benavidez. Winning it would not only make him a champion in a third weight class, but also set him up for the biggest fights at light heavyweight in the future. We could even see matchups against Dimitri Bivol or Artur Beterbiev down the line. But first, the Mexican Monster must get past Zurdo Ramirez in a tough fight, because a loss on May 2nd could end his hopes of those big future showdowns. Now the question is, can David Benavidez take over another division? And may share your predictions in the comments below. That is it for today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our next uploads. Also, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned, and we will see you in the next one.